Question Time from the Edo diaspora, reaching out to all Edos across the diaspora, Italy, Belgium, Ireland, and the USA, hosted by yours truly, Lace My Man. In the best interest of Edo State, welcome to Question Time from the Edo diaspora. Wherever you are in the diaspora, we'll bring it to you on Question Time. These are active members of Vote, professionals with experience in Edo State politics. We have a common interest, so it's time for that conversation in the best interest of Edo State.
So as you find yourself in a passenger, need someone like a passenger, treat them all like a passenger. No, we say you're a passenger, so find yourself in a passenger, treat someone like a passenger, treat them all like a passenger. No, we say you're a passenger.
8 years ago, APC brought us a Labour leader to govern Edo State. He turned out to be a dynamic personality and a good governor, taking Edo State forward, tarring roads, renovating schools, and many other good stuff. So now it's the 2016 governorship election. They are neck in neck with PDP. We want to find out why. Question Time is with the APC UK Chairman, Dr. Philip Idaewor, to ask the strong questions just before the election. Good day, Dr. Philip.
Nice meeting you. Thank you very much, Liz. Yes,
Thank
thanks.
you. What was APC's plan for Edo State 8 years ago?
Well, thanks, Liz. I think that we have to look at where we are at today, on the basis of the question you have asked, and where we were 8 years ago when Comrade Oshomole became governor, and when he came in as governor. At that time, there was no APC. Okay.
8 years ago, no party called APC.
There was no party called APC. APC is a very young party. APC was formed just 2014. 8 years ago, when Governor Oshomole became governor, what we had was ACN.
Yes.
ACN is one of the parties that came together to form APC. But as at the time Comrade Oshomole became the candidate of ACN, he already identified the political bedrock or ideology of the party. Okay.
Before we go further, I would like to clarify: was there any difference in agenda from ACN to APC?
In terms of the expansiveness of party manifesto, okay, I would say no, because they have been founded on the same kind of leaning, okay, social democracy and welfareism.
Okay.
So they belong on the same side of the political divide.
So the plan on the basis of the plan was the same.
It will be the same. Yeah, you could say they remain the same because they still remain on the same side of political thinking. It's not about ACN now APC with the others. It's not they didn't come into existence to exploit the people. They didn't come into existence to pursue capitalist ideologies or to make the rich richer while the poor became poorer. That was never the issue. So I think that when Comrade Oshomole became governor of Edo State 8 years ago, you could see, like as you said when you introduced this interview, that he had a clear focus. The focus was to attack and take Edo State out of the nomenclature that calling that Edo State was a civil service state.
Yeah.
2, Edo State as a state was broken. Infrastructure were decayed, the roads were bad, industries that were previously working, functioning, had all been
they've not been attended to.
They've not been attended to. On the pages of newspaper, and all that, you had a lot of industries working. So you had all the industries be open left, right, etc. On paper.
On paper.
Yeah. But in reality, nothing was in existence. So Comrade Oshomole came in and he had to pick, those sectors of the economy that were most beneficial to the people.
So you're saying he came in with a plan
Yeah.
to rebuild Edo State.
Absolutely.
And because on paper you had factories that looked like they were working, but in actuality were dormant.
They were dormant.
So-
Some were not in existence
Some
at
were
all.
not in existence. So the job on paper became double.
Absolutely.
Okay, so carry on. I wanted to clarify.
Yeah. So you had a situation where, if you take Benin City for instance, numerous parts, take coastal area of Benin City, houses were falling into gully erosion. The place was in tatters. Yeah. And I think that we have to, as Edo people, we have to commend the infrastructural development that Governor Oshomole brought into the state.
8 years of APC. We are now talking about the plan and the problems in executing the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at it in two halves. Where would you say APC is now? Where were they in the first half, the first 4 years? Were they still, were they on the same plan? And in the last 4 years, or would you say you need more time?
Let's look at it this way. I think that Comrade Oshomole came in the first 4 years and he zealously went into the attack mode of dealing with the problems that were facing, infrastructural problems. So schools were being renovated.
Yes.
Roads were being built.
Yeah.
Erosions were being attended, and dealt with. Now, salaries that were not paid, huge backlog of arrears of pensions and salaries were being cleared up. These are problems that were apparent for everyone to see.
Yes.
So it's not a question of making up stories. They were apparent problems. Now you talk about the second half.
The second half.
The second half, where we are at this point in time. I think that as a leader, he could not. I don't think that it will have been right for people to expect him to continue in that same mode during the second tenure. Second tenure, this time, he did the appropriate thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Settle back and begin to complete.
The projects you started in the
Absolutely. Otherwise, you are going to have we continue with the same kind of behavior politicians constantly play in Nigeria, where they start projects anyway, even when they know they have no capacity to complete them.
So you say you would summarize the second half of the second half of APC was to complete.
It's completion, and then focus on those projects that again have magnified impact on the lives of the people. Say for instance, healthcare, Central Hospital, that is outside of the University of Benin, which is a federal center, or Tibokai Hospital, which is a federal center, the tertiary referral center owned by the state government is Central Hospital Benin.
Yes.
And I think that Comrade Oshomole made the right call to go and transform that hospital into a truly functional referral health center, so that wherever you are in Edo State, you could have a state government funded hospital that is truly a referral healthcare center, where complicated and difficult cases could be attended to, where the healthcare specialists that are working with the State Ministry of Health can work in an environment that is comparable to what you expect in a truly functional tertiary healthcare center, at least anywhere in Nigeria.
Can you tell me perhaps the single most important policy implemented in Edo State over the last 8 years that will not only benefit the present administration but future administrations, if any such policy has been put in place?
Yeah. Well, let's look at what has happened. I think that I compare the ACN APC government of the last 8 years to a combination of the kind of programs that Dr. Ogbemudia and Professor Ambrose Ali ran for Bende State. And I will tell you why. Dr. Ogbemudia came in as the governor of Bende State, or Midwest Bende State. He is credited with massive infrastructural development of the state.
Yes.
2, he is credited with developing sports.
Correct.
In the state.
Yes.
You cannot take those legacies away from Governor Ogbemudia.
No.
Professor Ambrose Ali is credited with massive investments in education.
Correct.
Across the whole of Bende State. You cannot take that legacy away from Professor Ambrose Ali. And I think that in terms of impacting on people's lives, what the ACN APC government have done is to go back to the basics and begin to reconstruct infrastructure in the state. They opened up roads across the state, even in rural communities that hitherto have been left abandoned.
So you would credit regeneration.
Regeneration, both urban regeneration as well as rural regeneration. Governor Oshomole surely has done this.
Question time from the Edo diaspora, reaching out to all Edos across the diaspora.
Question Time has teamed up with Edo Connect to bring you a regular news summary from Edo State and Edos in diaspora. On Edo Connect, we got fashion blogger Emil Saboye. We got Monique Idaewor live from Edo State with the mood on ground. Why not get your voice heard by recording a video message on your phone and sending it to Edo Connect?
I'm Dr. Edmund Ediosage. I am a consultant gynecologist and medical director at Cheshire Fertility Center. Cheshire Fertility Center is a contemporary fertility, assisted conception, and specialist gynecology service provider. We provide the very best and full scope of fertility treatment services, including IVF and specialist gynecology services for fibroids, endometriosis, and repeated miscarriages. Our experts are leaders in the field of fertility and women's health with over 30 years experience that has provided them with detailed understanding of the sensitive cultural needs of African and Asian clients. Cheshire Fertility Center is based in London, Macclesfield, and other locations around the UK. We guarantee prompt, efficient, and cost-effective service with no waiting list. You can get to see our experts within a week of your inquiry. Come and see us at Cheshire Fertility Center, where we expand horizons and fulfill dreams.
Since the regeneration started, there's other parts that felt left behind because some parts were, more road attention was paid to roads, attention was paid to school, redevelopment. But the other parts that attention weren't paid to, would they be the part that are, in this case, leaning towards the new government?
That is a reality. But I want to suggest that people will have to look at the totality of the problem that Nigeria, inclusive of Edo State, is faced with. And that is the problem of resource availability. Yes, Nigeria is an oil-producing country, but unfortunately, Nigeria became dependent on a mono economy. And therefore, money available for government activities will obviously become limited. As a government, you have to pick
what you can do.
what you can do. You can't deal with everything. I think the benefit of what we are doing here is this: that we live abroad, we live in the diaspora, but we are Edo citizens, we are Edo sons first and foremost.
Yeah.
We are Nigerians first and foremost. So we know that in the UK, that is far wealthier compared to Nigeria. We still see the limitations
Yes.
of what government can do at any point in time.
Servicing all sectors effectively.
Yeah, when you think of the budget for London, that the mayor's office control, compare that to what the whole of Edo State control, compare that to what maybe the whole of South controls, and it tells you that in a world that has become a global village, what we think is a lot of money actually is a drop in the ocean.
You were very conversant with social media.
Absolutely.
You must have seen the same pictures and the same news we've seen about the current APC Lagas, if we call it that way. They have the special island in Idaewor, in Oshomole's village. They have pictures of a hospital, a fully functional hospital in America. They have they also have the new university in Idaewor, not so far from Ambrose Ali University. People say that there's funds to do other things besides these things. How would you explain when this news comes to you? What is APC's explanation for such open lavishness?
Again, I think that I like to deal with this into two stages.
Yes.
The first is this. One of the things that we have also learned from the social media activism is it also has opened up a new vistas of bad press, okay, within the Nigerian environment. I see that as an evolution. I see that we will get to a stage when people will begin to take responsibilities for their actions. Now, to your question, sometime last year there was the well-publicized airline, which I'm sure you probably came across as belonging to Oshomole.
Yeah, I was
But
going
it turned out it was a lie. It turned out there was nothing like that in existence. That people simply sat down and wrote Oshomole's wife's name or whatever on the body of a plane, using, of course, Photoshop and all that kind of stuff. And they said that Governor Oshomole had an airline. All right? That is the kind of, at this point in time, irresponsible behaviors that we see.
But you say whilst I co-sign your motion,
Yeah.
will we put all this down to propaganda?
No. I mean, I'm coming to answer the other segment of the question. So, once we have this baseline established, that it is not everything, okay? It's not everything that is being propagated on social media that is right. We have a good platform to move forward. Again, during the Chatham House event, which I'm sure you probably followed,
Yes.
I was there, of course, because I led my party there. Okay? We saw people broadcasting live onto media that our then candidate, President Buhari, had been arrested and put into an arrest van and all that kind of stuff. So we see crass propaganda that shouldn't be evident if we wanted our communities to begin to develop in the appropriate manner that you and I have become used to. You agree with me that a lot of the stuff that people talk about and lie brazenly about or with cannot and could not happen in our environment in the UK. That whoever is responsible will know that they will face the full extent of the legal system.
Yes.
So people behave themselves. Yes, of course. If an individual, regardless of their status in society, is found to be corrupt, okay, is found to be corrupt, the law should take its course.
There's not as much time because the election is this month. But let's look at the other legacies that were left behind in regeneration and maybe refocus to say youth employment, who's going to take on that legacy? Free and fair election, who's going to take on that legacy? Are these things in the APC pipeline manifesto to be commissioned by Godwin Obaseki?
In answering that question, I will tell you this. When we look at the campaign messages of Godwin Obaseki, he's made it very clear. Employment is key on his agenda. I think he said he was planning for how many hundreds? I think 200,000.
200,000 jobs.
That is significant. Most of those jobs are going to go to young people. So you talk about youth employment. So he is thinking actively about it. Okay, and he's planning for that.
I want to say before you answer, now we're all aware of the fact that we're working with limited resource, and we have a legacy to walk into. Are you clarifying that youth employment, youth empowerment, that's the time with APC and limited resources that we have?
I think so. I think it's all about capabilities to attract, investment into a state or into an environment. It's all about being able to attract investment. And we know that with the involvement of APC's governorship candidate in the past, that's Governor Obaseki, that he surely has the capabilities. Work with, coming from the finance sector, coming from the background of asset management and all that he's surely able to, and he has the reach, he has the capabilities to attract needed private investment capabilities into Edo State. That is what you need. That is what drives an economy. Any economy that wants to develop, you must be in a position to attract investments from all over the world, into that plan. And I think that for Nigeria, and specifically for Edo State to thrive, it has to be that the governor must be somebody who understands the workings of growing an economy.
Let me give you a minute to remind the people, summarize the reminder why you're standing behind APC to continue. Dr. Idaewor, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I use this opportunity to call on all Edo people to ensure that they all came out during this period of voting and cast their votes. Vote for the candidate of the All Progressives Congress as the next governor of Edo State. It is key and it is important for Edo State to continue to prosper, to continue to grow, and for Edo people to continue to enjoy what democracy brings into a community. We cannot allow our state to revert to the era of open thuggery and the wasting of human capacities. So my people, please go out when that day, is September 28th, go out, vote. Don't stay at home. Don't let anyone intimidate you. Go out and vote for APC. Vote for Godwin Obaseki and Philip Schreiber as the next governor and deputy governor of Edo State. I thank you very much for listening to this interview. God bless you and God bless Edo State.
Question time. Reaching out to all Edos across the diaspora.
So as you find yourself in a passenger, need someone like a passenger.